This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about your other broadcast partner. We touched on Heyman. Jerry Lawler is now doing radio appearances. He's talking about his issues with the company. I know that you tried to talk to him a little bit the day he ultimately walked out. Has he cut off communication with you at this point? Are you still trying to reach out to him and have conversations and just keep a dialogue going?
He didn't try to, no, he never cut off communications. He wanted to come back to work.
Right.
And he knew at some point in time, if he's going to come back to work, he's going to be working with me. So he's smart. He's a smart old pro. So he was singing a story to others. He became famous. Jerry was always going to be famous in his region. But he really hit big when he got on WWE TV.
Yeah.
Our ratings are at times terrific. And he just, but we were friends, Conrad. We'd shoot the shit about the Browns. He's a big Browns mark. And I kind of am now, too, with Baker Mayfield, the quarterback, my boy from Oklahoma. But we talk football or what's going on, women.
Tell me a little bit about what you're talking about here, though. When he's on the outside looking in, he sees, hey, the show has gone on without me. Now Heyman's in there, and by all accounts, he's doing a great job.
Yep.
And I don't think the wheel has completely run off with him and Stacey yet, but it's probably not what he hoped it would be. Are y'all having conversations about that? Or when you catch up, are you just not talking about work and just talking about everything else that friends might do?
I think the latter. He knew that I couldn't hire him back. That's Vince's call. And how that worked its way out was yet to be determined. So we didn't discuss, and that was part of we both had the same attitude in that regard. We did not discuss at length anything that neither of us could control.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was just a matter of time before Lawler would be brought back. And unless I was moved to SmackDown and he was put there, he would be working with me. And Heyman would stay on Raw with somebody else. Or Heyman would go to SmackDown and Lawler would come back in and take his chair on Raw. I had confidence all along it was going to happen in some shape, form, or fashion. But I couldn't make it happen. And Jerry knew that. So we talked about general stuff. And yeah, we're talking about business. And be like, hey, I was bullshitting. You ready to come back to work? Yep. I was always ready. I didn't want to leave. Okay. So I don't go that road.
Yeah.
We discussed this ad nauseum. I get it. You didn't want to leave. I understand. I didn't want you to leave either, but you didn't listen. And you were loyal to your wife at that time.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask is, I wonder from your perspective, and obviously, we need to talk about this in context. 20 years ago, he was with Stacey. That was his wife. But did you have the attitude of, well, is that really a relationship that's going to last? Did you have your doubts about the long-term viability of that relationship? And did you sort of reconcile it to say, King, are you really going to throw away a really great opportunity on a temporary situation?
No, hell no. They were married, Conrad.
Yeah.
What the fuck am I, Dr. Phil now?
No, I'm not saying that, but it feels like Vince McMahon sort of assumed, or maybe yourself assumed, that, hey, we're going to fire your wife, but you can still stick around, that he was going to go for that. And he didn't, obviously.
Right. No, I was surprised when he left. Him going home for a week to be with her for a week and get her, because nobody said that she couldn't or wouldn't going to come back.
Right.
It's wrestling. God almighty, you're around us egomaniacs enough to know it's fucking wrestling, Conrad.
Temporary.
Yeah, everything's temporary.
Yeah.
So no, and that would not have been my place to say something like that. Jan and I are very friendly with Jerry and Stacey. We went to their wedding in Las Vegas, paid for by Charles Barkley. True story.
Yeah.
And I just didn't feel that would be my place whatsoever. Now, look at Lawler's track record with his marriages and the women in his life. you could say, well, you know, let's just rewind it here a little bit, go back down the road that you just traveled. It wasn't my place to say that.
Right.
This was been, it's not what you say to friends. So consequently, no, that was never discussed. But we understood each other so well, just like we did on the air. Things could go unsaid and still get done. And that was kind of where we were. I knew he wanted to come back to work. I knew that the chance was always going to be there as long as he didn't. I think I may have told him, you know, don't shit the bed on all these interviews.
Mm-hmm.
Be careful what you say.
Mm-hmm.
And because at that point in time, you wonder, is he trying to defend Stacey, or is he just trying to continue to keep his name out there so that when the call did come, the table was set. And eventually that happened. I don't know how long he wasn't gone that long. Was he gone a year?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but we have talked about Jerry Lawler, by the way. Check it out in the archives over at grillingjr.com. I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. Do you really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com. Well, let's jump into it, man, because there's so much to unpack. But first, I want to talk about your broadcast partner. You know, Paul Heyman had been the, I think you've referred to him before, sort of the Jim Jones of wrestling. He had everybody drinking Kool-Aid, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Now with the King out, Paul Heyman fills his spot. He is your broadcast partner here, but his old corporation that owned ECW, company for ECW, is going to file for bankruptcy during this time. Are you even discussing any of that business with Heyman, or is that something that you just wouldn't bring up?
I don't recall that being a topic of conversation, Conrad. It would not be a pleasant conversation. The act of filing bankruptcy is fairly self-explanatory. I didn't think that we needed to discuss his business because it really affected his family. His dad had put so much money into the ECW brand, and they were underfinanced from the get-go. They were always the old dog chasing its tail scenario. You just kept going around in circles, band-aiding it up. So no, we didn't talk about it to any degree. I might have said something, you know, or show us support or something like that. But you know, he was a pleasant, Paul was a big asset for us, and he still is, obviously, for WWE. But he helped divert some of the attention of lost talents because people had a new sound to listen to. And I thought he did a fantastic job from day one. You know, I saw that in Atlanta. When the booking committee didn't want to deal with him, I took him. And I enjoyed what we did in Atlanta. I thought we did a good job, and it was a great contrast, how he sounded and how I sounded. Me being the quote-unquote baby face, him being the established heel without any gray area. He wasn't always trying to be funny or get himself over. He loved to stir the shit, and in a good way, which is what he got talent over. He gave you a better reason to dislike the bad guys.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at savewithconrad.com.